Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Fernando Corona and I am an out-of-state investor along with my wife and our 16-month-old daughter. Today we're going to be talking about how to analyze the Padsplit market. This, for those who don't know, Padsplit is a rent by the room model. They collect payments every week, and it's a way for us to expand and maximize the square footage of a property to collect the right amount of rents. Typical average stay for a tenant is 8 to 10 months for us right now. That may depend on the market that you're in, but either way, this is more of a midterm rental strategy, which is why we like it. A lot less maintenance, a lot less customer service, a lot less targeting, the luxury traveler, a lot less attending to a higher end luxury traveler. Now, today we're going to talk about how to analyze the market if you're just getting started and you don't know where you should look. I'll share how I got started, and then I'll share what I would do if I was getting started again. And hopefully now, when you're watching this, there's probably more markets that Padsplit has actually branched out to. When I started on this journey with Padsplit, Atlanta was really the only market. They had just started in Atlanta and they were starting to expand. Padsplit isn't that old. They started in 2017. We got into it in 2020. It's 2022. So since then, they've now expanded to Florida, Texas. They just expanded to Las Vegas. I hear they may be expanding to Los Angeles. So, they're in Indiana, in all these other states now. So when you're approaching this model, you're going to have a different mindset than the one that I had. But having said that, I already have a few properties, so I already know how to think and what I would do when I first got into this model. So the first thing that I would do is you go to Padsplit, and when you go to padsplit.com, you can kind of go in there as if you are a member looking for a place, and you get to explore a little bit. Okay, they're in Florida, Jacksonville, Lakeland, Orlando, right? Tampa. Here in Georgia, these are all the little cities and towns. College Park, we have properties in College Park. And so Stone Mountain's good. There's a lot of places here that are good areas. So it's not like you're getting properties in areas you don't even want to own properties in. A lot of these places are in good areas. Indianapolis, Indiana, Las Vegas, Nevada, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Texas, right? Even parts of Virginia here. Okay, so when you come in here, you're just taking a look at what's here. And upon immediately looking, ask yourself, do you know anybody in these areas? Do you know any real estate agents in these areas? Do you know any property managers? Do you know any contractors? Because that's going to be a big hit. If it wasn't for the team that I have in Atlanta, I wouldn't be in Atlanta right now. I don't even know if I'd be able to do this strategy. It's all about the team, because as you run a business, as you start to create your real estate team, especially out of state, we live in California, you need to trust them. They need to become your advisors. Steve Jobs said you hire smart people so that they tell you what to do. It's exactly the model. So that's one of the first things you want to look at is, do you know anybody in that area who can connect you to the right team? That's a huge one. It's not up already. I have a video. It's going to tell you how to interview a real estate agent in a market. Just to let you know some few tips. Are they investors themselves? Have they worked with out-of-state investors? Biggest two things. And are they connected to the people that you need to build a team? So going back to this, when you're selecting a market, that's probably one of the first things to keep in mind is, do you have people on the ground that you can connect with to start to build your team? Let's say you do, right? That's okay, check. Then you just start there. Now you get to analyze the market in terms of the numbers. So you feel confident, and let's say you pick one, and now you want to start to analyze the numbers. So at that point, you would create a profile on Padsplit. Highly recommend you create like a host profile. You're going to reach out to a Padsplit rep. This is the cool part. Padsplit actually has a really solid customer service team for hosts where you can reach out to the rep and just ask them, hey, I'm looking in Jacksonville, Florida. What's the current occupancy rate of all these four? Jacksonville, Lakeland, Orlando, Tampa, right? Can you give me the zip codes that have the highest occupancy rates? Can you give me the zip codes that have the highest average weekly rate? And they start to tell you what the average weekly rates are for the zip codes. They start to tell you what the average occupancy rates for the zip codes. And you do that for your market, and then you just run the numbers. If you had 4 rooms booked, 6 rooms booked, 8 rooms booked, 10 rooms booked, how much are you going to be grossing in income? Okay, once you figure out that gross income, then you're going to start figuring out, all right, well, what are my expenses going to be? Now, you're kind of like, oh, I'm happy with that gross income. I'm happy with these occupancy rates. And let's go explore what kind of houses there are. So then you're kind of looking at what kind of houses are going to be there. By the way, when you talk to the PadSplit host, you want to know who's your target market in that area. Typically, PadSplit, from my understanding and from my experience, they're targeting affordable housing. You got to remember that they may not be targeting the person who wants to raise a family. You know, may not be targeting that person. Again, this is more affordable housing. Somebody that doesn't mind living in a location for that 8 to 10 months while they build up their credit score, while they build up security deposit so they can go and stay at their own place. This is them getting on their feet to make that next move. And that's the current market that I've seen at PadSplit's targeting, which is, like I said, is solving affordable housing. There are rules and limitations PadSplit sets. For example, you can only have 4 rooms to 1 bathroom. So it's not like you can build out 20 rooms for 2 baths. That's not going to fly on the PadSplit model. So there's 1 bathroom for every 4 bedrooms, but still 4 people sharing 1 bathroom, or even 8 people sharing 2 bathrooms, 8 people sharing an entire house. You just got to understand that sometimes I hear from investors like, why would anybody want to do that? And sometimes circumstances are such that it's out of necessity. Again, solving the problem of affordable housing. And we as hosts, especially my wife and I, like, we want to give them an amazing experience, right? How can we have them stay for longer than the average stay? We do have a few tenants who've been here for over a year in their room, and they're happy there. Now we're thinking about, how do we help them out more? Like, what else are they looking for? How can we help them? So there's a lot of things to consider in terms of why somebody would want to live in a PadSplit, first of all. Okay, going back into analyzing the market. We look into, from my experience, I'm looking for homes that cost under $250,000. If I can lock in deals under $250,000, I know I'm probably going to be adding $25,000 or $30,000 on top of that. And so that gives me roughly between $70,000 to $100,000 you might be all in on a PadSplit property, buying on the MLS. If you have a strategy to buy off market through wholesalers, rehabbing, refinance, obviously, yes, you're going to get less money in the deal, which is good. I have that strategy approach as well. We're just talking about the MLS right now. What you're going to find is you're most profitable under that $250,000 mark for an 8-bed 2-bath. Now, when you start thinking more creatively about whether you have 3 baths in there now, if you have 3 baths, then you can fit another 4 rooms, because remember, it's 4 beds to 1 bath. Or with a 3-bath, you could do an 8-bed 2-bath and then a 1-bed 1-bath and charge $250 a week for that 1-bed 1-bath, right? You can charge a lot more. So you can get creative with the square footage that you have. It's all about running your numbers. We're not going to be running numbers today. I'm just sharing how you should be thinking when you're selecting a market. So I already have College Park, Jacksonville, Fort Worth. I have all these pulled up. I have a few filters in here. I haven't explored, I haven't dove into the Jacksonville market or the Fort Worth market, but this is just how I would approach it. I know for sure for myself, I want at least 2 bathrooms in there at all times. So I'm going 2 bathrooms. That's a filter I put in here. I know that square feet, I want it to be 1750 or more. So I know I could probably fit 8 beds in there as well. And what's nice is you got like homes that are here, 1900 square feet, 230,000, 24 days on Zillow, possibly interested in that. This one here, 3-bed, 3-bath, 1900 square feet, 175,000. How much work does this need? You have to click into it. Let's check it out. But if it's already getting price cuts, this isn't bad either. Wow, this is pretty spacious. But again, it's all about having the team there. This is cool. It's all, fine and dandy. But if you don't have a team down there who can actually make this passive, then that's not going to be good. And just remember, follow up. I would send that address to my PadSplit rep to find out, how is that zip code performing? Hey, I'm interested in buying this property. Can you help me out? Can you give me some insights? What do I need to set my numbers at when I'm estimating this? And then they'll give you your average weekly rate. Again, I'll have another video about how I take their average weekly rate, plug it into my deal analyzer to figure out if I'm going to be profitable. But usually, let's assume that this is a good area to have a PadSplit. $174,000 is a huge pickup. To give you guys some background, we picked up our first house at $165,000 in Atlanta. Right now we're netting $3,000 a month, which is crazy because our mortgage is so low. Granted, we got in when the interest rates were like 3% for an investment property, 15% down. So now that interest rates are a little higher, 6% or so, your cash flow could be a little less. But either way, $174,000 is an amazing pickup. I aim for under $250,000 now, and that's in Atlanta. But looking at this, I may even be like, shoot, should we be checking out Jacksonville? Should I be looking into these markets? there is a opportunity cost. Time spent analyzing all these markets, building out the entire team, it's time consuming. And we have not saturated Atlanta yet. So I've been hesitant to have to explore outside of Atlanta for us, just because, like I said, we already have spent so much time there and have built the right connections, and we're happy with how things are performing. So this is Jacksonville. Take a look there. I'm checking out Fort Worth. Fort Worth looks a little bit more difficult when I put the same parameters. 2 baths. I'm looking at square footage, and you do have, it says Airbnb, 185,000, 5-bed, 2-bath. I mean, this is, wow, over 2,000 square feet. So this is interesting because this already has 5-bed, 2-bath. I mean, 47 days though, so shoot. I mean, this is a fixer-upper, right? It doesn't look terrible, to be honest. Buyer's lending fell through, sold as is. Yeah, this isn't terrible. Again, it's all about communicating with PadSplit to find out if there's a good deal, and communicating with the property manager on the floor, a real estate agent on the floor. They're the ones that are going to tell you, is this a good area? How close is it to a bus stop? You want to ask PadSplit, what percentage of people that stay at PadSplits in that area own cars or have to take public transport? All this information you should be thinking of when you're analyzing a PadSplit deal, because that's going to make the most sense. You want to know like who's going to be staying there, the types of individuals. Are they primarily commuters taking public transport, or do they all own cars? In that case, you don't need to be near public transportation. Yeah, so there's just think about these things when you're going about analyzing these properties, and use your team to your advantage. Get with the agent, tell them your strategy. Hopefully they already know Airbnb or they already know PadSplit. Talk to PadSplit, ask PadSplit if they have a recommended agent, or ask PadSplit if they have a recommended contractor or a recommended property manager. Most of the time they do, and so they'll recommend all those people to you as well. Again, as PadSplit grows, you grow. As you grow, as we grow, PadSplit grows. So we're all on the same team here. There's enough to eat for everybody. We're super early in PadSplit's development. This honestly reminds me of like when Airbnb first launched and they started in like one city, then expanded to all these other cities. That's the same thing what's happening right now with PadSplit. I'm excited to see where that goes. So in the Atlanta market, when we're exploring this whole area, we are creating the filter of split level, because in Atlanta or in Georgia, for whatever reason, and Tennessee, they created basements, and I don't know the full history as to why they created split level homes or created more basements. But when we talk about a split level home, you'll see it's pretty interesting. Check this out. You'll like walk in the property, and there's actually like a downstairs and an upstairs. It's the way that this model is. So you can see in this house, there's like the upstairs and the downstairs, but they call them split level homes. And these ones are super, super clutch because there's typically a lot more square footage than what Zillow might say on here. So that says 1,300 square feet. It could be 1,300. It could be more. Depends on how big that bottom floor is and the top. And where is your other Conyers? Let's see this one. So yeah, this one's really nice. You can see prices are definitely getting cut. So so this is a split level home. It'll be, let's see. There you go. There's your downstairs. And then you see how big is that downstairs area. You got a bathroom probably downstairs as well. Yep, 2 different bathrooms. You can see here. So this is like one. If the whole bottom is the same square footage as the whole top, I mean, this is pretty nice, 1,800 square feet. So yeah, so this would be, I mean, time on Zillow 6-7 days. Wow. Yeah. So this is interesting to look into as a PadSplit. All right. I'm personally looking for a little more beat up houses so I can add more value to them. There's different strategies there. And then I'm also not in a rush because just of how the market's shifting with the interest rates obviously firing up. So understanding your market, finding out what are the types of homes that make sense for a pad split, homes with ADUs or whatever the situation might be, how you can potentially build on them. So the Atlanta market is going to be different than your Jacksonville market, different than your Texas market, you know, significantly different than your Vegas market, and obviously way different than your Los Angeles market, because you may need to target somebody differently, may need to build the home differently or find different home to accommodate for the person who will be staying in that market. And then especially to make the numbers work, your prices are going to be a lot different. So me telling you that I look for homes under 250,000 is based off of my experience and as to how much average weekly rate I can get in this market. But that's not to say in Vegas, you know, you can charge more. You'd have to, again, check in with PadSplit how much they're charging your average weekly rate, or in LA when they expand there. So this video is more so meant to get you guys just thinking about all the different things that I think about when I am purchasing a property or even looking to explore a different market. So I hope this video was a little helpful. All I do, which is a quick look, is to like how much are some of these rooms going for. 159. So in Forest Park 209, this one probably has a bathroom, but 159, 147, 172, 154, you know. So here I'm looking, personally, I really like College Park because I think you're getting like an average weekly rate of $160 a week. And if you go to Jacksonville, it looks 160, 160. So this looks more like 150, yeah, probably 150 average weekly rate, maybe a little less from what I'm seeing there. And which one's this one? It's Fort Worth. So anything over 200, I'm always thinking that's probably a private bath. Coming soon from 235 per week. So see, this person says from 235 a week. So I'm curious to see how they're going to be able to ask for that high of a price. So that sums up exactly how we go about analyzing a market and the steps that I would take to figure out what market I want to go into. It's all about leveraging the team that you have access to. So whether that be your real estate agent, it might be your contractor, your property manager, it'll be your PadSplit rep, definitely would be your PadSplit rep. And then starting to analyze the deals, right? Getting in there, getting properties, checking if the numbers make sense. Right now, I don't consider anything under a 15% cash on cash ROI. Those are my standards. By the time you're watching this video, I don't know how feasible that's going to be, if you could still be hitting 15% or higher, right? Depending where interest rates are and all that situation. But for us, 6.75% interest, we are looking into like 40-year mortgages where the first 10 years are interest only. We can hit over 20% cash on cash. And if you get into the right property, structure it correctly, you're able to pull cash out and all that. I mean, we got in 2 years ago and our cash on cash return was like 30 to 40%. So pretty massive in terms of the returns, which is why we've continued to enjoy buying Padsplits. If you have any questions on Padsplits, how to analyze markets, or if you have something to add, please leave a comment below and let us know if you have something to add to what I've shared, how you might analyze a market. I'm definitely not the smartest person in the world, so if you have more information to share, drop it below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. That'll tell everybody else, hey, this guy's video was actually worth watching, especially if you stayed to the end. Thank you very much. This was a long video, but I hope you got a lot of value from it. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Fernando Corona, and reach out to me there, DM me, feel free to ask me some questions. So as a PadSplit investor, I'm always looking for investors to partner with, fully hands-off, partner with investors that way. Or if you're looking to learn this for yourself, please shoot me a DM. I'm also taking on clients and help them get into their first PadSplit. Typically in under 90 days, they can expect to be in their first PadSplit. Reach out either way just to connect, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.